What's going on, guys? Welcome to Rabbit's Used Cars. I'm a little bit ashamed to admit this. I have been around old cars my entire life. I have drove them, I have sold them, I have worked on them, I've built them, I've painted them, I have done everything you can do with a classic car, I've done. And a few things you didn't think you could do with the one I did. That being said, I feel bad because I never want to be that guy that's like, you need an old car. Man, I had so much fun with these old cars and these old cars. You got to think, but I sell hundreds of things, hundreds of them. I mean, like 88 this year so far. 88 cars. Matt's over shaking his head and he's like, I saw every one. It's crazy how this business works because I like to think I'm the face of this and selling this. And I like to kind of think of myself as a guy in the know in the collector car industry. But, but this is the thing. Sometimes you get lazy, I guess. Or convenience, maybe a little soft. Sometimes you got to step back and practice what you preach. I know you're like, where we're going with this? Just hang on. I always rope it in. A few weeks back, they were having a little car show down at the lake, right there in downtown Seneca. And I've got a warehouse full of cars. And what do I drive home? My new Silverado. And somebody told me, damn, Rob, won't you drive one of them cars down? You talk about old cars and how great they are all the time, but hell, you never drive one. And this guy's Tim Greer. And if you've watched the channel for any length of time, you've probably seen Tim pop up in a video or two. SEMA videos, the Hound Dog Truck video. I don't think he had clothes on in that one. You may want to skip that one. Moving on. And Tim Greer gives me hell. Tim Greer is he's like that cousin you don't like, but you feel like you have to like him. It's like he just says just says things that just rub you raw. And he goes, that's all that Rob Pitts is. He runs that mouth. He said, Rob Pitts. Boy, he talks about all them pretty old cars. He'll show pictures on them and videos, and he'll zip them around the block. And every time I see him, he's driving a damn new Silverado. Every time I see him, he's riding in a Cadillac. He ain't riding in an old car. You just old hot rod hypocrite. And that hit me hard. Because I don't want to be that guy. So that was kind of resting in the back of my head. And we had this event that was coming up in Seneca. I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to drive my Silverado. So I came back to Greenville, which is an hour. Got my 56 out. Keep in mind, I've had that car for 5 months. It has been driven maybe 2.5 miles in 5 months. Mainly fired up, backed out, moved around, car shuffle all around it. This is the quintessential, just cool hot rod. ZZ4 crate motor. I mean, just rattles the ground. Very well mannered on the street. Disc brakes. Just it feel like you're driving your grandmother's couch down the road with 400 horsepower. I'm like, I need to drive this thing. And this thing had, a damn inch of dust on it sitting here. And, we're kind of batting down the hatches for some future projects. So I'm like, hell with it. So I got my 56 out and drove her down to Seneca, and it started raining. And I'm like, this is why I don't drive an old car. But why not? You don't think it ain't never been wet before? You don't think in the 60 years that this thing has been on this planet that it's never gotten wet? Yeah, it's gotten wet. It ain't hurt a damn thing. It was just a little passing shower. So I drove her to the house, parked her driveway, got my bucket and my soap out. I'm old school. I don't use a foam cannon or any of that bullshit. And I washed my car. Sun popped out. Got my chamois out and dried it. And before any detailers say, oh my God, just calm down. It's okay. Got my chamois out and dried it off, dried off all my chrome, wiped my cast mags off. Just like, it's just nice just to step back. We clean up cars all the time over here, but it's just nice. In my driveway, gorgeous outside, ring my chamois out, Marlboro hanging out, just sitting there like, that's a good looking car. And you know what? We pile up in this thing and we go to the car show and have a blast. There's probably 75, 80 cars there. It wasn't a big deal. But it was so fun, of course, in the evening, here in the South in the fall. It's about 65, 70 degrees, just perfect window down weather. And this old Chevy just sitting there just beating them off, tearing the damn mufflers off when it's idling. This thing just nasty, just snotty is what she is. And I love it. An old car, you just bump a switch, you think this thing's fuel injected when it fires up. And just a good car, getting out riding around the lake. It's beautiful outside, hit the lights. Hell, I drove this thing to the grocery store the next day. I drove it to Harbor Freight, took my mom out to dinner in it. And hell, then brought it back, drove back to Greenville Monday morning. Hell's raining when I brought it back. Pulled up truck shop, and boys said, oh my God, I can't believe you're driving that car in the rain. I'm like, that's what it's made to do. It's got a top on it. I'm like, I want to start enjoying these cars a little bit, but I'm going to take it one step further. And this is for you, Tim Greer. Well, as luck would have it, I got a man who wants to buy my new Silverado. Well, I ordered my new Ford Maverick, but it's not here yet. What should I drive? You got to think, I've got about 3 weeks before I leave for 4 months to do some filming. And, I'm going to be gone for 4 months, and the channel will still be dropping just like normal. But what am I going to drive? And I'll start thinking about it, That's why, hell, I'll run the sale and go pick me up a little Cadillac, or go run and get me a little run around or something like that. Go pick me up a little C5 Vet or C6 Vet, something cruise around in. Why? I got a perfectly good 33-year-old Corvette right here. So this is the promise I made to myself. I'm gonna put some tires on this piece of shit because they're dry rotted. This car has 52,000 miles on it. This is the one from my video. This is the car I sat in when I was 9 years old. But why let it sit? That's the best running and driving 88 Corvette that you could possibly sit in. I'm gonna put a set of tires on it, and I'm gonna drive this thing every day. And the thing you gotta understand is, I drive about 600 miles a week, every week. And that's just commute, back and forth. That's no extracurricular trips or anything like that in a 33-year-old car. And I'm not gonna buy another car. I'm not gonna, wuss out. I'm gonna drive this damn car every day, Monday through Monday, every day, every week. This is what I'm going to drive to the grocery store. This is what I'm going to drive to the parts store. This is what I'm going to drive to the auction. This is what I'm going to drive to the bank. This is what I'm going to drive to the house. This is going to be the hot date car. This is going to be running to get parts car. This is going to be running to the DMV car. This is going to be the everything car till I leave. And I'm kind of excited about it. It's almost like a venture. Because I don't know what you're saying. Oh, damn, Rob, it's only got 52,000 miles. Keep in mind, this is a 33-year-old hunk of fiberglass. You could take every piece of metal in this car and carry it out in 2 hands. It does C4 Corvette things, which is a whole nother level. I could have got a little OBS truck and done the same thing, but I don't think it'd be the same. We were doing the radio show, and we used to do this really funny thing on the radio show. We called it a Craigslist challenge, where everybody would pick out a car on Craigslist for a certain scenario, and you had a certain price range to stay under, and you had to basically plead your case on why you picked the best vehicle for the money to do this. One of the funny things I used to love to do is always pick a C4 Corvette, because I'll be honest with you, not so much now, but then no matter what the budget was, you could always find a C4 Corvette in that budget. If it's $2,500, $5,000, $10,000. C4 Corvettes for days. Hell, sometimes you could even get 2. You know, one of the funny things was we actually had to pick the perfect vehicle for a handyman. And we had a $5,000 budget. And I found an 88 Corvette with like 1 billion miles on it. You know, everybody else is picking little pickup trucks. And one guy picked an Astro van, you know, and I picked a C4 Corvette. And they go, Rob, he said, you know, you can't haul a 4x8 sheet of plywood and that. I said, you got a saw? And he said, I just don't think a Corvette would be the best car for a handyman. Depends on what you're handy at. You picking up the chicks in the trailer park? This sumbitch right here is the Swiss Army knife of that shit. This is the Leatherman. I'm telling you. Fiberglass has an aphrodisiac. Even these things, I'm telling you. So we're going to see, and with the 80s boom and everything, Radwood and all that stuff, I really think it's going to be fun. I mean, who knows? I might be wearing a damn members only jacket next week, you know, from driving this thing. And like I said, it does old car things. You know, this isn't a perfect car. I mean, it's a good running, driving car. You know, digital dash, she likes to blink sometimes. And, you know, fuel gauge, we're going to see. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to shoot a little follow-up video to this. And to see how my impression and how I feel about this timeless classic will be when I'm done driving it for the next 3 weeks. I guess you got to stay tuned for the exciting conclusion of, is this piece of shit going to leave me sitting? Guys, we'll catch you next time at Rabbit's Used Cars. I'll tell you what's crazy, Matt. Can you believe that? I just told all these people that I'm going to drive this car. My watch cost twice as much as this car did. That's bad.
I was there when you bought both of them.
I know, really. In the collector car industry. And insert picture. You know, a few weeks back, you know, well, first, you know, a few weeks back, you know, they were having a little car show down at the lake. You know, fuel gauge, yeah. Heat and air, yeah. So, okay, we just come on in. So, here's the night, my body's weak.
The hell was that?